刚才说要帮忙找下礼拜跟下下礼拜工作，是吗？
So, have you ever heard of starving billionaire before? Today, I'm going to share the story happened in Zimbabwe, the first country suffered from hyperinflation in 21st century. From the picture, you can see that the Zimbabweans are heading for gold in the river because the local currency loses confidence in the market. This is a lesson that every governor has learned. Now let's do a quick review on this country. Zimbabwe is located in the region of South Africa. It's about the size of California with a population estimated about 12.7 million. The history of changing of region is a little bit complicated, but the main point is, after colonial eras and civil wars, it finally recognized independence in 1980. To trace the economic crisis and the causes of hyperinflation, it helps to compare 1980 with 2008 to 9, the height of hyperinflation. The annual inflation rate at independence was 5.4%. 20 Zimbabwean dollars was the largest currency denomination. Unemployment rate was about 10.8%. Exchange rate, $1 equal to 0.647 Zimbabwean dollars. However, everything changed in July 2008. The annual inflation rate rose to 489 billion %, and 100 trillion was the largest currency denomination. Unemployment rate rose to 94%, and the exchange rate, $1 equal to 4 million Zimbabwean dollars. What happened to Zimbabwe? There are many reasons behind this, and the starting point of weakening began in 1991. The first part is about economic decline. Actually, Zimbabwe is an agriculturally dependent nation. Periods of drought adversely affecting the output of cash crops. Also, the land reallocation depressed the commercial farming output. Tobacco was one of the major foreign exchange goods in Zimbabwe. It lead 64% from 2000 level in 2003, which makes the total output depress about 50%. The second part is about uncontrolled government spending. The government spent about 3% of GDP for bonuses to soldiers and veterans in the independent wars. That idea, the government began to print money to cover this unexpected expenditure. Also, because of the involvement in Congo's civil wars, the government spent about 3% of GNP about this expenditure. Also, the authority faced debt obligation from the International Monetary Fund. The dire economy prompted a wave of emigration to neighboring countries, contributing to the labor force decline in 2003. That means the tax base was shrinking and the revenue cannot support the total expenditure and obligation. What can they do? So the government tried to print more money to solve the problem. You have to understand that when there are no real economic output back money supply, currency will lose the value, just like toilet paper. hyperinflation, price doubled every few days. The government tried to set ceiling price to solve the problem, sometimes even use police force to do that. However, this policy failed and resulted in food shortages because business cannot earn any profit on the ceiling price, so they reduce production to avoid losses. When the supermarket shelves were empty, a black market developed where food and foreign exchange can trade in the higher prices. Finally, later, even though the Zimbabweans are billionaires, they are starving to death. Finally, the Zimbabwe dollars was abandoned as official currency on April 12, 2009. Some people might view this story as a common news. It's not my business. We are in Taiwan, but not in Zimbabwe. However, it's a big warning to us. This is a debt to GDP ratio in Taiwan. From the figure, you can see that the ratio rose higher and higher than before. If this situation continues, Taiwan will go bankruptcy sooner or later. Remember, uncontrolled government spending is one of the reasons in hyperinflation in Zimbabwe. How can we endure our government wasting our money? All of us are taxpayers. It's our right and obligation to supervise our government. Back to Tia.